Hey, welcome back to Tuesday Tea Time with Dorina. I want to welcome all those that may be first time viewers. We are happy to have you join us. Okay. And thanks for those that will be watching the replay. You are viewing Tuesday Tea Time with Dorina, and we are presented from Women of Wisdom. We are a nonprofit organization here to empower teen girls and women with practical wisdom and confidence. We're here to bridge that generation gap between the younger and the older generation to pass on vital knowledge one to another and to the next generation. All right. So join us. I have an announcement for our vision board event is going to be on Saturday, April the 29th at 2 p.m. at Sozo's Coffee Shop. So if you need to register, you can just wait for the website to come across the screen. Go to that uh, website and click on, I think it's the register events registration, and you will see where it says vision board. Click that and register for the vision board event. We are going to have an awesome time like we normally do at any event that we have. And I'm not just trying to beat that up, but it is what it is. And so if you're available that day, register and join us. All the materials are supplied. We're going to have a charcuterie board and refreshments. And we just passing or spreading the love and the wisdom, growing in confidence. Your vision board can be uh, your goals, your values, whatever you want to accomplish in life, things that inspire you and motivate you, and you put that on your board and put your board somewhere where you know you're you're gonna see it quite often, or just put your board somewhere and be inspired, okay? How about that? You could out tilt this just a little bit just so you can see there's a board behind me that I made years ago, and I'll just kind of give you a sneak peek of it back up there. See that? The little board right here, that was my very first vision board that I made. And so uh, constant power and sustaining is one of the uh, phrases or words that I have on there at that particular time that really spoke to me. And I still have it up there, and I still come back and look at it and be inspired. And you can do the same with your vision board. Okay, so our before we get in our topic tonight, as I usually do, I'm going to share with you um, my tea. I'm doing ginger again, and with the probiotics in it. This is just, and you know what? This is another tea that I found out that tastes really good without having any creamer or honey in it, but just ginger all by itself. If you like ginger, you will like the ginger probiotic tea, which is through Celestial Tea. Okay, here's one of my butterfly cups that I got from somebody that blessed me with it. So, tea time. I do hope that you have your beverages and that you join in with us and fill your cup up with lots of wisdom tonight. All right. Discernment is what we're talking about. We need discernment in what we see, hear, and believe. Discernment is something that uh, today, in today's world, we really need to have discernment. And just having that ability alone will help us to make better decisions in life, because really discernment is about making good judgment. And we all need discernment. Actually, we all have it. It's really a matter of whether you develop it or not. Because, anything that you don't practice or, does not develop. Okay. If you don't use it, you know how the saying goes, if you don't use it, you lose it. Or let's put it like this: if you don't perfect it, it becomes weak. Okay. And so then you're not able to discern a lot of things that's going on around you. And that's very important that you understand and know what's going on around you, because if you can't discern what is true and what's right, you'll fall for anything that's not right. Okay. And that will be a disaster in life. And that's, some of us can probably look back and see where we didn't use discernment in a lot of decisions that we make. And that's the reason why we made a lot of wrong decisions. But we want to use wisdom, and wisdom, discernment is a part of wisdom, applying that into your life, your decision, what you see, what you hear, what you believe. These are things that affect our lives uh, in detrimental ways. And so this is a important subject that we learn to walk in discernment. Okay. And we all have that ability to discern what's right and what's wrong. It was innated in us from birth. And so we do have the ability. And the other thing is don't ignore signs, or don't ignore the intuition or the insight that you even get from your gut feeling, because even I was thinking about this before I came on, but even our bodies will help us realize something is not right. You can be somewhere and you could just kind of feel the atmosphere, that's discerning the atmosphere, knowing how to judge, what's going on. Is this right or is this not right? Don't just fall for everything that's out there. Don't just, let media dictate to you what's right and what's wrong. You have the ability to discern what's right and wrong, and you just have to uh, go by your own natural ability to know the difference, because there's something within us that tells us, something is not right about this. Have you ever been in a situation like that and you think to yourself, something told me not to do that? And we need to start paying attention to that something told me, you know, and that'll help us use that ability to discern. Okay, so let's look at what definition that I have for it. This is really good, and this will This will help you out a lot. Discernment is the ability to perceive, understand, and judge things clearly, especially those things that are not obvious. Okay, so that's what discernment is, the ability to perceive, understand, and judge things clearly, especially those things that are not obvious. And sometimes you just have to step back and evaluate the situation and not just move too quickly. And, part of the problem is that we bypass discernment when it's trying to operate. And then we end up making wrong decisions or doing wrong things because we didn't perceive that, we didn't understand, and we just didn't judge that correctly because we just did not allow the time that we need to discern. You know what? Listen, we have to take time for the important things, and when it comes to discerning things, that is wisdom. And we should always have time to include wisdom and discernment, okay? So we can make better decisions in life and not allow other people to take advantage of us, because sometimes we can discern intentions. And, you know, some people may have good intentions, but good intentions can be paved down the wrong path, okay? And so you want to make sure that you're not being abused because of someone's uh, wrong intentions. How about that? Okay, let's look at this. Okay, moral discernment involves discovering. It brings freedom from bad choices and increases confidence in our ability to make wise choices. Okay, so when you're, oh my goodness, yes, because when you're discerning something, you are actually discovering what's going on. And the more that you know what's going on, the more that you can discern the atmosphere around you and pay attention to what's going on, it will, you know, it brings you that freedom from making a bad choice. And when we make good choices increase our confidence and our ability to make wise choices. Okay, and that's what we want to develop. We want to develop in making wise choices so that we can eliminate a lot of problems in the future, because what we do now will affect us later. I mean, that's common sense. And so discerning things uh, is will keep you from falling into traps. Okay, and that's what we want to do. Wisdom will teach you, about falling into traps. We talk a lot about, comparison traps and things like that. When you are a person that discern situations and circumstances, you are actually being observant and you are aware of your surroundings, and you become more aware of your own self and become aware of other people, and you can discern people's intentions, whether they are good or bad. And you know that that's important, because if you can't discern a person's intentions and they're bad, then you just set yourself up for failure. Sometimes this may be kind of a hard truth, but sometimes, the things that we fall into is our own fault because we refuse to discern the situation. Because we don't want to look at things for how they are. We want to look at things to be the way we want them to be. And in that view of life, we are fooling ourselves, and then bad things happen to us, and then we want to blame other people, when really we need to just use discernment and not allow people to take advantage of us, and not look at things to be the way we want them to be, and be real with ourselves, be willing to accept correction, be willing to receive truth, even what is it called? Constructive criticism. Evaluate, see things for what they are. All right. Don't make excuses for bad decisions, and don't let those bad decisions hold you back from making good decisions. Okay. Now, just because you made a bad decisions does not mean that all your decisions are going to be bad. Okay. So, have positivity, and never give up, and learn from that bad decision. Learn how to discern those situations ahead of time before you even go into that situation. And just taking some time and just kind of, you know, looking to see, are perceiving things correctly. And sometimes, it just takes digging to see things correctly. And you got to get past the lies. You got to get past the fake news, and not just fall, for anything, and not allow your feelings and your emotions, to get in a way of discerning what's right and what's true. You know, let not, yourself be led by feelings and emotions that fluctuate all the time with situations and circumstances. Step back out of that and discern what's going on. Sometimes things that are going on around us, when other people are involved, discern that situation. Find out whether or not you ought to be a part of that conversation. Don't just, partake of every conversation, because some conversations does not need your voice. Sometimes we just need to stand back and we need to listen to what's going on. You learn more by listening than you do by speaking. And when you take your time to just kind of listen, you can evaluate, you can discern, you can have the right, you can perceive things and know whether this is right or whether this is wrong. Even, going to do something and you're invited, be careful that you're not going into a situation where you're off track and in the wrong place at the wrong time. There was somebody that they were with someone and they did not discern that situation, and they end up driving a getaway car without even realizing that's what they were doing. and they thought that this person was their friend and everything, and didn't even know what they were up to, and end up spending time in jail because they did not discern the situation, and they didn't discern the person that they was hanging around with, and end up going to jail uh, over good intentions of driving somebody somewhere. Today, we got to be careful about who we're around and who we do things for. We need to have discernment and not just allow ourselves to be involved in any situation. There's a lot of things that look good that are not good. And if we would perceive things and the truth of the matter and see it for what it really is, that will keep us out of a lot of trouble, and then we will make better decisions in the future. So keep yourself out of trouble by discerning what's going on around you. Discern people's uh conversations and their intentions. And like I said, your body will tell you, will give you, your body signifies to you that something is not right. Pay attention to that. That is a part of discernment, and discernment will give you wisdom so that you don't just fall for anything or allow anything to happen in your life. Okay. So that's important. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. Life offers us a lot of invitations. Be wise enough to choose which one is worthy attending to. You know, Finding that out is all about using wisdom, using discernment, okay? Because that's important. Correct ourselves and accept correction. It's important, or it's impossible to desire discernment unless correction is a healthy thing. You know what I mean? Okay, so learning how to accept correction. That's something that you can learn how to do. Learning how to accept correction. You know what, with me, when growing up and everything, you know I mean, it was kind of hard because I grew up around a lot of criticism, and so when you're criticized all the time, it's kind of hard for you to accept correction because it all seems like criticism. And so what criticism does when it's abused, it causes low self-esteem. And so with low self-esteem, and you're being criticized, and when you may not even realize this, but even when you're around a lot of criticism, you end up criticizing yourself a lot. It affects your self-talk. And so now everybody else is criticizing you, criticizing yourself, and then somebody come along and try to correct you. It sounds like criticism. And so you have to learn and discern, the intentions of the person that is trying to help you. And you got to learn how to even be that helper to yourself, learn how to receive the positive self talk instead of just always constantly criticizing yourself. These are things that we can grow out of, and we can develop in our lives, and so that we're not taken advantage of all the time in life, because everybody needs correction. I mean, there is nobody that really knows everything, so we all need to accept that, and that will cause you to be healthy, and it's easier to discern things when you have healthy thinking. That's pretty good, huh? Let's see, what else? Do not make a decision in isolation. That is not good. These are a few things I have that's going to help you with discernment. I put them up. Let me put those up here and let's run over them real quick. Okay, is there peace in the decision that you are about to make? Okay, there's wisdom in numbers. Okay, when you get the counsel of more than one person. I mean, if you think about it, I'm sure you probably heard, somebody get diagnosed with something. They always tell you to go get more than one opinion. Well, when you're making a decision, it's good to get more counsel and get wisdom, from different sources, and not isolate yourself and figure it out all by yourself when you don't have to do that. Okay. There's wisdom in numbers. Okay. Okay. So that's number one. Is there peace in the decision? And like I said, that'll come right. You can feel that right in here. Do I have peace about that? Do I have peace about going here? Do I have peace when I'm around this person and that person? If you are not having peace, there's your discernment talking to you right there. Take a moment, spend some time with it, and then decide, okay, I'm going to follow after this peace. Because when you follow after peace, that brings peace. When you ignore that peace in your decision, or if you lack peace in a decision, if you ignore that, that right there will tell you that something wrong is going to happen. Okay. So there should be some peace in your decision, and that is your discernment giving you that peace and telling you, uh, don't do that or proceed. Okay. Number two, list the pros and the cons. Okay. List the pros and the cons of that decision, or where you going, or the person that you're being around, or whether you should take this employment or take that employment. you know List the pros and the cons, discern, because there's sometimes you can get mixed up in a company that's not right, and if it's not right, it's not going to be right for you. So you got to have discernment and know the right paths to take. And in discernment, there you can there's almost like something that's like a block almost. If you become aware of this and sensitive to this, and even as I'm talking and stuff like this, things are probably popping up in your head, and you're thinking, wow, okay, that was discernment talking to me and telling me not to do this and not to do that. Pay attention to that. Be friends, be best friends with discernment. And I'm telling you, it will help you build your confidence and stay out of a lot of situations that are not beneficial for you. Okay. So list the pros and the cons. Don't just walk out and be, impulsive, and just, be like a bulldog, bulldozer, just move forward. And there's a time to take a risk, but even in taking risks, use the pros and the cons. Don't just step out and stuff and not think things through. Use some wisdom even in that. Me and my husband was talking about taking risks, and the wisdom in that. If that uh you got $1 million, if you got $1 million and you taking this risk, you're gonna risk the whole $1 million. Lack of wisdom. Okay. You discern that situation, and don't just uh force things because they look good. There are good intentions carried out poorly. That's what somebody shared with me this week. Thought that was pretty good. Okay, so anyway, number 3, let's close this out with number 3. Check for alignment with your values and your beliefs. These things will help you stay on the right path of discernment. If you take time out to see whether or not something aligns with your values and your beliefs, and not just jump out there just doing something just because it feels good, it sounds good, or somebody's trying to convince you that it is good. Use discernment, and uh don't, well, don't be a wimp about stuff. Stand up for what's right, stand up for what's true, stand up for what's lovely, stand up for what's honest. Have some values and beliefs that you are solid about, and use those things to help you discern in life, so that you're not just falling for anything and everything. Okay. And so remember what discernment is. I just kind of feel like I need to go back and reiterate that. Okay. Remember what discernment is. Discernment is the ability to perceive, understand, and judge things clearly, especially those things that are not obvious. Okay. So if it's not obvious, take some time to see it through, so you can see what should be obvious. Okay. Because there are some things that should be obvious, but it's not, because we're blinding our own selves by our emotions and our want to, because we want to. I want to do this. No, use wisdom, and don't move forward just because you want to. Take time and befriend discernment, and discernment will lead you with wisdom, and you'll make the right decisions. You'll hang around the right people. You won't allow yourselves to just hear any old thing and you fall for it. Okay. So, my friend, my wow friend, like I always tell you, walk in wisdom. All right. I enjoyed our time tonight, and you have a good night and a good rest, and get up in the morning with desire.